Perfect, perfect. All right. So welcome everyone to the session titled Power Automate for Desktop for Absolute Beginners. What I will be covering today now is the overview of this product. Especially if you haven't used the desktop flows before, then we'll be covering the basics, where exactly this product is helpful for us, what are some of the problems or challenges this product can help us to solve. And also we'll be covering in case your organization is interested in using this product, then what are some of the best practices out there and how you can go about hosting this product and also some other nuances that come with it. A little bit introduction about me. As Mohammed mentioned, I am a Microsoft MVP and my current categories are AI and business application. And as far as my day-to-day job is concerned, I work as a cloud solution architect at Applied Information Sciences, where I focus on intelligent business process automation. And I am from United States of America, and I'm joining here today from Reston, Virginia. All right. We also have some IP that is freely available on the internet on robotic process automation. So one thing I would like to highlight is this white paper that we develop with partnership with Microsoft. This white paper can help you in terms of if you are interested in deploying RPA using Power Automate for desktop. What are some of the best practices you can use as far as the infrastructure is concerned? We also have some training available on Pro site as well. So with that, I always have this slide in my all the technical talks. It really doesn't matter what kind of tool or technology we are using. What really matters is what kind of problem you're trying to solve. And that's what we're going to focus today is, okay, what is the problem most of the organizations are facing right now and how this particular tool or product can help you to solve that. And these are going to be the agenda. We'll start with a brief introduction about Power Automate. And then most of the time we'll be spending is talking about Power Automate for desktop. We'll also talk about hyper automation. We'll give the overview of the app that we need to use to create desktop flows. There are two types of desktop flows we can create, attended versus unattended. We'll talk about that. We'll have demos, key takeaways, and Q&A. Even though I mentioned Q&A towards the end, feel free to ask your questions anytime. For that, you can either if you can either unmute yourself or just post your questions in the chat window. I'm using two monitors, and we also have Mohammed with us who can also help us in terms of tracking the questions as well. All right. So I think most of you are already familiar with Power Automate, Microsoft Power Platform. It's a low code, no code platform from Microsoft. But even if you're a professional developer, you can use it. And right now we have five major product in that: Power Pages, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and recently they renamed Power Virtual Agent to the Copilot Studio. And as I mentioned, anyone can use it. The data service behind the scene is called Dataverse. It also has its own AI service called AI Builder. And Power Platform also has a low code programming language called PowerFX. Right now, the support for PowerFX is only available for Power Apps and Copilot Studio. I think sooner or later it will also come to Power Automate and some other products as well. So Power Automate is a really great service that is part of Power Platform because it has more than 1,000 plus inbuilt connectors. And using those connectors, you can implement automation with a variety of the products and services. And those connectors can be, connectors for Microsoft services such as Teams or Outlook or SharePoint, or those connectors can be for other non-Microsoft products as well, such as Salesforce, OneDrive, GoToMeeting, ServiceNow, etc. And you can also create your own custom connectors in case you have some APIs or some applications uh, which are behind your firewall or which are proprietary to you. And you would like to use that in Power Automate, you can deploy a custom connector, and then via that you can use that. And in case you have any application which is running on-premise, let's say Azure on-premise version of SQL or on-premise version of SharePoint or any other on-premise application, you can also connect that to Power Automate via gateways. And inside Power Automate, we have two types of flows. One is the cloud flow, which majority of us are familiar with, where we implement automation using APIs. And for example, if you implement automation where as soon as a new email comes in your Exchange Online mailbox and you do certain steps after that, that comes under the cloud flows. For the cloud flows, as long as there is an API available, you can either use the inbuilt connectors, or you can also build your own custom connector and use that. And then there is a second type of flows called desktop flows, which we can use to automate legacy system. Where, which are running either on desktops or virtual machine, and those falls under the robotic process automation. And in today's session, we'll be focusing more on the desktop flows and less on the cloud flows. So as I mentioned, we can bridge when it comes to implementing automation, we can bridge that gap using APIs. And for that, you can use cloud flows. But let's say if you have any application where there are no API support available, and as part of the application automation, someone has to either manually click few buttons or manually start a program and then do bunch of drag and drop operation. Those kind of things we can do as part of desktop flows. Just like Cloudflow, desktop flow also come with a lot of pre-built actions, but you can also build custom actions as well. For that, you need to use an SDK, and it is currently under a preview. And we're using the combination of cloud flows and desktop flows. We basically implement automation for any system, as long as that system is you can access, either via APIs or either via a desktop or a virtual machine. And since Power Automate is part of Power Platform, we can also infuse AI in the automation. In one of the demo I'll be showing, we'll be using some of the AI services. And when it comes to using AI services, you can use AI Builder, but you're not restricted in using AI builders only. You can also use AI services from, let's say, Azure AI, such as Azure Applied AI Services or AI Services. Its former name is Cognitive Services. But you can also use AI services from other vendors as well. For example, you can use AI services from Google, you can use AI services from IBM or AWS, as long as those AI services are available to you as a REST API, or there are some inbuilt connectors available, inbuilt actions available, you can do that. So desktop flow. Let's now talk about switch the topic to the desktop flow. So using desktop flow, we can implement automation for a lot of legacy applications, and that legacy application can be accessible in the form of, let's say, Win32 application, or a console application, or not console a Win application. A console application is also fine. Then your web apps as well. And those applications can be running on a virtual or a physical servers. And this kind of a different types of legacy applications we can use for desktop flows. It can be a Win32, Java, Citrix based, SAP, AS400, which are old mainframe system, or other legacy system. And let's say if your application is accessible only via browser, you can also do that, as long as that application can open in the modern browsers such as Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or Firefox. And you can also use virtual desktop. For example, to access an in-house application, you had to first go to Citrix or remote desktop. Those kind of scenarios are also supported. So desktop flows is not built by Microsoft from ground up. What they did is they acquired a company called Softmotive, and they had a product called Win Automate. So they merged that Win Automate as part of Power Automate, and that's how we have the capability of RPA, or robotic process automation, in Power Automate now. That's why when you look at the experience of building a cloud flow versus a desktop flow, there is certain differences. The designer is also a little bit different, and the reason is Microsoft is integrating a third-party product as part of the Power Automate here. And this is how it looks like. Basically, since it is part of Power Platform, everything is built on drag and drop functionality, and along with that, it also has some option to reuse the controls or images or functions. We can also use advanced error handling feature. And one of the cool feature about desktop flows is you can directly start or execute your custom code using some scripts, like for example, JavaScripts or Python or PowerShell or command line directly within the desktop flows. And there are two modes of executions are there, attended versus unattended, that we'll be covering later on. And there are more than 400 actions available, and those actions covers variety of the automation scenario. But as I mentioned, you can also build the custom actions as well. With that, let me quickly go and start the Power Automate desktop app. This app is available to us free. You can download it from Microsoft site if you are using Windows 10. And if you are using the Windows 11 a specific version, I think it's already come pre-built as part of the OS. And once it comes in, I will basically give you the overview of this particular product. Since this product is part of Power Platform, remind me tomorrow. Let me see if I can adjust the size of this a bit so the subtitles are visible. Okay. All right. Okay, a little bit more. All right. So what I'll do is I will first basically sign out from the account because I would like to start from fresh. So when you install this product on your machine, again, it's a free product. You first thing you have to do is you have to sign in. And this product is also available to us for free. That means you don't necessarily need to have a Microsoft 365 account or Power Platform account. Even if you have, let's say, a live account, that means you have account in outlook.com or live.com or msn.com, you can still use this product for free, but with some limitations. So right now I'm going to sign in with my Microsoft 365 account here. So once I sign in, since this product is part of Power Platform, a lot of things will be quite familiar to you, especially if you have already created the Cloud Flows or Power Apps before. So once I sign in, whatever the account I'm using, it will basically show the information about that here. But along with that, the product also has the concept of environment. So whatever you do, whenever you create a desktop flow, it's always going to get saved in a Power Platform environment. And this is the home screen. So here, if you're totally new, you can watch this video. But if you scroll down, one thing I will highly recommend to watch is these examples. So if you see, there are some examples available. And if you do see all, like in case you had to build any kind of Excel automation, how you can go, how you can go about doing it, web automation, date time handling, text manipulation, PDF automation, desktop automation, scripting, flow control. So these are really good ways of, get started with this product and see how exactly things work. And just like in your cloud flows, it also has option where if anyone has any desktop flow with you, you can use that here. And here you can see all the desktop flows that you have created. And if you scroll down here, you can see some tutorials from Microsoft Learn and some helpful links as well that includes pricing, the community forum, and some of the latest blogs from the product group as well. And here you also see the link to the other products which are part of Microsoft Power Platform. So with that, what I will do is I will just quickly go and click on a new flow. And here, then you have to give a new flow name of the flow. So let's call it as a Power Platform Bootcamp 24, and click Create. And now the flow is getting created now. And once it is ready, then I will give you a walkthrough of the UI. So while it is getting loaded, please let me know if you have any questions or comments. So if you focus on the left-hand side, this is where you see all the actions, and some of the actions will have some diamond icon because those are the premium actions. And depending on your license, those may or may not be available to you. And if you see, the list of actions is quite exhaustive, quite long. And you can also see by clicking on see more action, you can also see if if you had deployed any custom actions. And you don't have to remember the name of each and every action. You can always, just use this search action bar. Uh, for example, as part of my automation, I had to do some work with the file system. So if I go to file, then it will show you all the different kinds of action that are available, and all I have to do is just a drag and drop here. And once I drag and drop, then I had to configure additional thing. Okay, whether the file exists and what is the file path, and this also has the concept for variables and other stuff. And if you look at the uh, here, it also has inbuilt debug option. This is very helpful, and I wish sooner or later Microsoft will add this similar option in Cloudflow as well. But just if you have used any custom code before, like a C# or JavaScript, most of the IDs have debug option. So here you can apply the breakpoints and use that for the debugging. You also have a recorder. A recorder comes really handy, especially the idea behind the RPA or the desktop flow is you teach the desktop flow what are some of the different steps that you do as part of your automation. And while teaching that, you have two options. You can drag and drop all the functionality, or you can also start the recorder and actually simulate all the button clicks or all the programs that you create or all the actions you do in Excel file. And the recorder will capture that and add all the steps here. And after that, then you can customize those action based on your need. Desktop flow also have the concept of input and output variable. So whenever you are starting a desktop flow, you can accept some variables, some input values. You can treat this as if you have used custom code before. You can have functions there. Functions can accept some parameters. Same is the concept here. So you can pass in some values while this desktop flow is getting created, getting started, and then you can also pass in some variables when the execution of the desktop flows ends, and you can pass those output variables to other flows there. You can also use the variables here. And if you see, there are some AI actions are also available. So if I remove this, and you see there are some AI actions not only available from Microsoft, like, out of the box, like the computer vision, text analytics being spelled, but AI actions from other vendors like IBM, Google, AWS, or Azure AWS are also there. Okay, and the reason for that, these actions are available because before the acquisition by Microsoft, this product was heavily used in the industry, and a lot of companies who are using were not traditional Microsoft shop over there. It also has inbuilt OCR functionality as well, and there are lots of actions are there. So what I will do is I will close this right now, and I will show an example of a desktop flow that we have built. Okay, and I will just give you a quick walkthrough of that. And the idea behind this desktop flow is we have a legacy application, which is a Win32 application, and there are no API support for that. And the only way to implement automation with that is someone has to manually open that application and do a bunch of steps. So in this application, we actually add the information about the invoices. And if you see here, these are the input parameters, like input values we provide, like what's the amount, what is the name of the account, what is the contact information, and the invoice ID. And another thing I didn't mention is, so you can also have in your desktop flow, you can also have a main flow, and you can also have subflows. Okay, so for example, I have this main flow here, but after this is done, before this is done, it also run like on line number 19, a subflow, which basically does some Excel manipulation here. Okay, And one thing I really like about the UI of Desktop Flow or Cloud Flow is each action in the designer has a number. So it comes really handy when you are, collaborating with other team members saying, okay, I'm having issue with line number 8 or line number 9, and let's take a look at that. So if you look at this automation line by line, what it's doing is it is starting this legacy invoice application on the machine. And then later on, it's doing a bunch of activities in the UI for it. And once all the things are added in like once of this UI activities are done, it is actually closing that application and also starting another Excel file. So let me quickly run this, and then I will show you what exactly is happening. So a desktop application will start on the machine like this Conto, so invoicing, and whatever amount are mentioned here, those will get added in this application's specific location. And since there are no API support, the only way to automate this is using this RPA or robotic process automation here. And as soon as this is added, it will save the entry and then it will start an Excel file. As you can see, it's launching an Excel file now. And once that Excel file is launched, it will add the record and it will close the desktop flow. Okay. And now let's go back to the slides here. And let me quickly show you a few things. But before I do that, please let me know if you have any questions or any comments. You can either use raise your hand feature or just unmute yourself and ask the question. So why why Microsoft had to purchase another product such as WinAutomate and add that as part of the Power Automate? The reason is they want to portray Power Automate as a single platform you can use for your entire automation. And your automation can be UI API based, which is you use Cloud Flows, or you can also be legacy UI based for which you use the RPA. And since it has support for AI services as well, you can use the single product, which is Power Automate for hyper automation. That means your automation you can pretty much implement automation for any service, whether that service has API support or whether it's a legacy UI-based system. Okay, as we talked about the input-output variables. Okay, okay. So how I will call a desktop flow? So there are a couple of ways you can call a desktop flow. You can call a desktop flow manually, just I showed you on the screen, or I can also call, or the more common scenario is you call a desktop flow from a cloud flow. For example, one of the example I'll be showing you is email comes, and after the email comes, you would like to start a legacy application. Then, for the email, you have your Cloudflow as a trigger. But after it passes some conditions, then you call a desktop flow right from the Cloudflow. And when you call a desktop flow, it actually running from your own virtual machine or Windows server. And because of that, before you even start using desktop flow or start calling desktop flow from the cloud flow, you had to do some configuration in terms of setting your machine. So for example, if I go back to the desktop flow here, and if I go to the setting, so I have to basically connect this machine to the appropriate Power Platform environment. Let me quickly go here and click more and click on the machines. Okay, so here I'm inside the Power Automate. And here you can see if I go to the machines, I can see all the machines which are connected to this particular environment. Okay, and the machine that we are using is this one right now. So this is the machine that I'm using here is connected to here. So if I click on Open Machine Setting, it will basically give you the same you know, uh, page over there. And these are the machine settings here, where whether it's connected or not. Your machine has to be connected. That means the machine where your RPA bots are running has to be connected to the internet. And then you can also specify which environment you would like to connect to. You can also click the details, or you can also click on view machine in the portal. So when you do that, it basically brings you to the same page we just saw, where you can see who's the owner, whether it's connected or not, and what kind of desktop flows has ran on this particular machine, the connections, who this machine is shared with. So there are a lot of things you can see here. And as I mentioned, everything is based on low code, no code here. And you also have inbuilt exception handling in a lot of activities or actions that are there. Like some of the actions or activities have multiple retries that you can do, or you can also, set some variables, or, you can also run some subflows in case there are any exceptions are there. Now with Power Automate for desktop or any RPA tool, whether it's Microsoft RPA tool or UiPath or Blue Prism, you can have two types of automation. One is the attended RPA and second is the unattended RPA. So when you use attended RPA, someone is actually logged on to the machine and the automation happen while the user watches the screen. For example, when I started that desktop flow on my machine, which actually added some invoice information into the Win32 UI and also in Excel file, that was the case of an attended mode where I was actually logged into the machine and the automation was running over there. You can use attended for free in few scenarios, and a lot of people use it to automate some personal scenarios. For example, at the end of the day, you would like to fill a timesheet, but for that you had to open an desktop application or a web application and add bunch of entries. You can automate that using the desktop flow over there. However, the more common scenario in the enterprises is the unattended mode. Where you teach your RPA bot the automation steps, you test using attended mode, but eventually while deploying it, you deploy that as an unattended bot, and that unattended bot will run every time it get started and will do a bunch of operation. Unattended mode is the most common, usage across the enterprise and government agencies, and you can use it to implement automation at scale. And also, you can have jobs on dedicated machines, and robots will basically do the entire thing. And unattended mode is not readily available as part of your license. You have to purchase the additional add-on for it. And one of the key requirement for unattended mode is when the unattended mode RPA bot is running, nobody should be logging into that machine, or at least nobody should be using the same login with the same account under which the unattended bot is running. Okay, so this is the case example of an unattended bot where everything happened and you can see the steps happening in front of your eyes. In an unattended mode, since we don't have access and nobody should be logged in with the account that is using, only way to monitor unattended bots or execution is using the Power Automate, the admin center, where you can go and see whether a specific instance of an unattended bot was succeeded or was failed. Okay. All right. So there is a question I get quite a lot. Now, so far we talked about cloud flows, which parts of digital process automation. We talked about desktop flows, which are part of robotic process automation. Now, which one shall I use when it comes to implementing the automation? So the general recommendation is you always should start your automation by implementing digital process automation or cloud flows. The reason for that is when you use digital process automation or cloud flows, you are implementing API-based automation. And also the cloud flows are hosted by Microsoft. Like whenever, let's say you have automation scenario where your automation start when you receive an email in your inbox, and suddenly you got 100 emails in your Exchange Online inbox. That means now 100 cloud flows will start. You as a user doesn't have to worry about it because Microsoft will take care of provisioning the infrastructure to run 100 cloud flows in a short amount of time. Okay. If you consider that with RPA first is it's very, very difficult to implement, and there are a lot of errors that you may face because you basically mimicking what a human will do with a legacy application or with a browser. And also, let's say you implement an automation using RPA. and it is for a desktop application or a web application. Everything is working in production, and suddenly someone changes the location of the button or location of the text box as part of the new changes. After that, you also need to update your RPA bot as well, because the RPA bot will fail if it's not able to find a button or that particular text box at an appropriate location when it was actually got created. Another key thing is RPA bots are expensive as well. If you look at the pricing, those are expensive, and you have to build your own infrastructure to run the RPA bot. That infrastructure can be your VMs or Windows Server. If you compare that with Cloudflow's, you don't have to do that, and everything is done by Microsoft for you. And also, pricing wise, Cloudflow's are cheaper as compared to uh, the desktop flows. However, there will be some scenarios where even if you start your automation with Cloudflows, certain things will not be possible with Cloudflow, especially if there are no API support. In that case, then you have to use the desktop flows. That's why the common scenario is you use the combination of both Cloudflows and desktop flows for your automation, and you use desktop flows as a last resort, and you try to implement everything using the Cloudflows first. That because since we had to do a lot of hosting ourselves in for the desktop flows, that means I showed you I had to first install this product on the machine, make sure this product is configured correctly, and also this particular machine also needs to have the appropriate tools that I will need. For example, if I'm connecting to any legacy application, that legacy application has to be installed or accessible from this machine, or any browser or Citrix, those kind of things. And this comes challenging when you had to implement automation at scale. For example, if I had to implement 100 RPA bots at the same time, I had to build that infrastructure myself. And this is easier said than done. That's why Microsoft came up with a new offering called hosted RPA, where instead of executing your RPA bots in your own infrastructure, you basically use Microsoft infrastructure for that. And again, the option is the idea behind is you create your base image, which has all the required tools and products, and then you provide that to Microsoft to clone. And then every time your RPA bot run is actually using the infrastructure from hosted RPA. And you can, using the hosted RPA, you can pretty much implement automation at scale, because now you don't have to provision new VM if there is a peak load in your RPA bots, because that's the stuff is handled by Microsoft for you behind the scene. Even if, let's say, you had to run 100 RPA bots at a time, if you're going with hosted RPA, Microsoft will take care of spinning the underlying infrastructure for you. Right. So with that, I would like to go to one particular area, which is the monitoring of it. So there is a admin center available, and using the admin center now we can manage both the desktop flows and the cloud flows. And also there is a center of excellence also available for Power Automate. I highly recommend you in case you are, really your organization is really into the desktop flows and you would like to implement roll that out on scale. Definitely look at that center of excellence over there. All right, now we'll be going to the demo section where I will be showing you a very common use case in the enterprise, where the scenario is we have, let's say you're working for a company and your customers are sending you an invoices as part of the email attachments. And then you have someone from the finance team whose job is to monitor those emails and then open the attachments, read the content, and then whatever the invoice information is, manually update that into your backend system. Because since your backend system does not have any API support, you cannot really automate this using the Cloudflow. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is we are trying to solve this using Power Automate here. Okay, so we will be using the combination of cloud flows and desktop flows, and we'll also be using some Azure AI service to automate this manual process. So high level high level automation is as soon as an email comes, a cloud flow will start, and then Cloudflow will extract, will go through the attachments and we will be using Azure AI service to extract the key information from the attachments. And after that, then from that Cloudflow will be starting a desktop flow. And then desktop flow will basically have the information about the key information from the invoices, the amount, the due date, who it belongs to, and will add that entry into the Win32 application. It also add the entry to an Excel file. And after that is done, our automation will end. So for that, what I'll be doing is I will be just going to a new mail. Okay. And I'll be sending this email myself. And let's add an attachment here. Okay, so this is the invoice that I am going to send. And again, look at this invoice. It's actually in the image format. As a human, we can read it, but unless you use AI services, you cannot really extract the key information from this invoice. For example, what's the balance due, what is the due date, those kind of information. Okay, so what we are doing is, as part of this automation, let's say as soon as this particular email comes, we have a Power Automate or Cloudflow which starts. So let me show you that. So this is the Power Automate that I have created. And if I click on edit here, it starts as soon as a new email arises. All right. And then it goes through a bunch of steps. So first thing is it uses an AI service called Azure AI Document Intelligence Service, or its former name is Form Recognizer. Here you can also use AI Builder to extract this key information from this, because let me quickly show you AI Builder here. So if I go to the AI Hub, there are some models available in AI Builder that you can use, and you don't have to use Azure AI services. The only reason I'm using that because I don't have enough AI Builder credits in this particular subscription. So here you can see there is if you go to the AI models, there are models available like this: extract information from invoices. You can also use that instead of using the Azure AI service for this. So let me show you the implementation here. So first thing is it's going to extract all the information from the invoices. And if everything is successful, then it's going to start this particular desktop flow. And okay, desktop flow has started. So I'm just going to be like, let it run. And once the execution is complete, like right now, everything started automatically. I didn't click on this particular program. Once this is done, it's going to save it, and it's going to also open the Excel file and save the invoice information there. And once that is done, then it's going to close everything. All right. So you can see here now, after the extraction is done, I'm calling this desktop flow. And here, the run mode is attended mode. But if you expand that, you can also have running this in attended mode as well. And then these are the input parameters I'm sending while this particular desktop flow is getting started. And when this desktop flow will get start, it will basically have this as the input variables, and and depending on your implementation, it will use it. And once the execution is done, then let's quickly see whether this flow was success. Yes, the flow was successful here. Now let's go and see the desktop flow activity as well, because when you use desktop flows, and if you're calling that desktop flow from Cloudflow, you had to go to two locations to monitor it. First is look at the Cloudflow, and second is look at the desktop flow as well. So here it ran successfully, and this is how everything worked. And these were the uh, two. This is how the log information was here. So this is different than your traditional Cloudflow. So you had to go to different location to view the details. And I hope Microsoft will sooner or later combine the experience where you go just to one location and you find everything about your Cloudflow and desktop flow, as long as it is part of a one automation. and it will show you the duration of each step and what exactly happened. How much time it was in the queue, how much time it took for the machine assignment execution, all those kind of things you can see here. So with that, I think we come to an end. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and let me show you some uh, additional details around it. For example, if you are interested, these are the references you can use to understand to get started with Power Automate for desktop. Again, Power Automate for desktop is also available to you for free as well. So I highly recommend you to at least play with the free version and get used to it. And in case you would like to get your own dedicated Microsoft 365 environment or Power Platform environment, I need to double check whether this program is active or not. But at least till last month, this program was active, where using this program, you could get your personal Microsoft 365 development tenant for free with 25 users with E5 subscription. And you will be a global admin as well. This is a good way, having your own sandbox environment or personal development environment. And in case you would like to use some Azure AI services, for that you need Azure, your own Azure account. And these are the various way we can get personal Azure subscription. My personal favorite is if you have access to MSDN, just go to your MSDN portal and activate the monthly credit. If you don't have MSDN, then the other two options are you can sign up for the free trial. However, for free trial, you need a credit card, or you can also explore the Azure for Student uh, option as well, where you get a dedicated $100 credit depending on your country, and you don't need to use a credit card. So hopefully the content we covered today made you explore the Power Automate for desktop. You'll go home and play with it. And in case you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me via email or LinkedIn. If you scan this QR code, it will directly take you to my contact information on LinkedIn. So with that, we come to an end. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and for that, you can either unmute yourself or just ask the question in the chat. Thank you, Mohammed. And I would like to give a big applause to Mohammed and the rest of the team, because organizing this kind of conferences are not easy. It requires tons and tons of dedication and time. And I was really amazed with the kind of professionalism and also all the activities Mohammed and his team is doing in organizing this. So kudos to you, Mohammed, and your team.